Happy Sunday morning, everybody. So today we close out week 10 of Donald Trump's second term. So we've had 10 weeks of no DEI in the executive branch, scrubbed all diversity, equity, and inclusion from the executive branch of our government and from Trump's cabinet. We've got 10 weeks under our belt of people being appointed to Donald Trump's cabinet and hired to be part of his administration based specifically on their race, white, and predominantly for their gender, male. And so I thought it would be a good time for us to check in and see how that's going and how that's gone for the last 10 weeks. His Commerce Secretary, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a former CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. He's a billionaire. Was on Face the Nation this morning, where the host asked him if he used AI to come up with the tariffs that resulted in tariffs being placed on islands that are inhabited solely by penguins. Trump's agricultural secretary ranted about fake science when she was questioned about Trump's tariffs claim. But you know, it's like we have this administration now that consists primarily of white men, several of whom are convicted felons, accused of rape, accused of sexual assault, having been found liable for sexual abuse, having been found liable for hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud, and convicted felon Peter Navarro, who served time in prison last summer for refusing to comply with a subpoena from the January 6th committee. He is Donald Trump's one of his senior economic advisors. He's upset with Elon Musk for breaking with Donald Trump on tariffs. And then we have Elon Musk, who has somewhere around 57 children with 20 different women or something like that. I don't know. Who greatly enjoys ketamine and who is dismantling things like the VA, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid while tanking his own companies in the process. So, you know, and this is just off the top of my head, you know, it's like I wanted to check in. His Secretary of the Treasury, Mr. Bissent, is already looking for an exit because Trump's crashing of all the major stock markets by between 10 to 20% over the course of less than 1 week, wiping out $6.6 trillion in investor wealth and market cap and value for these companies. You know, Bissent is a Wall Street guy, and now being part of this administration is completely destroying his reputation. And then that brings us to Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice. Recall that she was Attorney General for the state of Florida for 2 terms for 8 years, during which time she failed to take any legal action at all against Jeffrey Epstein, who was flourishing in West Palm Beach at that time in his activities just down the street from Mar-a-Lago. She has turned the Department of Justice into a lawless organization that is lying to federal judges in court, multiple hearings about immigration, and has labeled roughly half of our electorate as domestic terrorists if they disagree with Donald Trump and his policies, and specifically if they evoke or express any negative opinion whatsoever about Elon Musk. So, and then, you know, we've got RFK Jr. I mean, Jesus H. Tap Dancing Christ on a pogo stick, man. RFK Jr., who is responding to the dramatically expanding and growing measles outbreak in West Texas. A second child just died from measles who would be alive today if they'd been vaccinated. He has responded to that uh, outbreak not by flooding the area of the affected states with MMR vaccines and vaccine educational materials. He has responded to that by flooding those areas with vitamin A, such that children are being given so much vitamin A by their parents, unvaccinated children, and as opposed to having their children vaccinated, these parents are giving their children so much vitamin A that their kids are now showing up in hospitals with liver damage from having been given so much vitamin A. And that's just the domestic stuff. We're threatening a NATO ally, Denmark, with military action and telling them that we're going to take Greenland by force, and which brings us to little J.D. Vance, who spent 3 hours on a U.S. military base in Greenland before being run out of the country a couple weeks after he absolutely berated President Zelensky of Ukraine in the Oval Office. Um, as part of Trump's plan to destroy all of our alliances with Europe and with Canada and Mexico. Uh, and Trump has also managed to turn the entire population of Canada firmly and enthusiastically and quite vocally against the United States, our friendliest neighbor for the past 80 or 100 years. And Trump has fucked that up too. So I thought it'd be a good time to check in and see how hiring only white men who are incompetent and unqualified for their jobs is working out for everybody.